All right, so sometimes I do these, post-fight videos. Let me turn this thing off. There we go. Then we won't have the fucking squeaking every 5 seconds. That shit drives me nuts. But mostly I like to do the videos before the fights, to try to give people a little bit of insight about maybe something they might not know about, or maybe you're looking to place a bet, or whatever it may be. Maybe looking to understand the sport a little better or get into it, or maybe you're already a big fan and you're just looking for some extra opinions or something like that. Anyway, my point is, I feel like if it's a fight that I did a video on beforehand and something went on in the fight to where I feel there's really something to talk about afterwards, where I'm like, okay, this like when Bud beat Spence, that was a hell of a fucking performance, and I hopped right on there and was like, wow, man, like I didn't see that coming and shit. So I thought there was a lot of things last night to talk about. In general, I'll tell you this right now, I really wasn't too happy with the card. The first fight was good. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. We got dominoes and shit, and things were going on early in the night, so I only caught parts of the first fight. The first fight seemed like a good fight. Then you had, what was the other fight? The Ugas versus Barrios, which, that was a good fight. I don't want to say that I didn't enjoy that fight, but, and I actually kind of thought this going into the fight. Ugas is done. And, I'm not trying to be a dick to Ugas, but, the guy's got 6 losses. I believe that's 2 losses in a row for him now, both of which almost ended for the exact same reason. Ugas almost got stopped last night because of that same eye that Spence battered up. I just feel like at this point in his career, and I could be wrong, man, but going into that fight, I had seen some videos of sparring. I had just seen a lot of things going on in sequence that I was like, I don't know, man. Ugas he don't look the same to me anymore. And that happens sometimes, bro. We see that happen where either people get old or they suffer an injury that they never really fully recover from, or somebody fucks them up. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes, look at Ricky Hatton or certain people like that. Sometimes you have this insane career, and a lot of it is built off of your self-belief and shit like that, and then somebody comes along and absolutely shatters that, and they're never the same fighter again after, I don't want to just call it a loss, but you get mentally broken, and it's something that stays in the back of your mind, and you know that you can be broken, and you just don't have the same belief in yourself anymore. And you listen, bro, mentality is a lot. Mentality means a lot. If you don't really believe in yourself, you're probably only going to be so successful. I'll put it that way. But, so that was that. I didn't think Ugas looked great. The eye injury just came right back. 2 losses in a row, 6 losses on his record. I know some of them were close losses. I'm not trying to downplay Ugas. Ugas is a great fighter. I'm just saying at this point, I just feel like, Ugas is not, I just don't think he should be fighting anymore. The guy's got a family and shit, and that eye is obviously going to cause a problem. And I just think that's it, bro. Hopefully you did the right thing with your money and you walk away. Good performance by Barrios, though. I thought Barrios fought a good fight, and I was happy for him because I don't dislike Barrios or anything like that. I don't dislike Ugas either, but I just thought it was Ugas' time to go, and good on Barrios. The co-main event, I really won't talk too much about. It wasn't a great fight. I thought Ramos did a lot of good things in that fight. I thought he put a lot of pressure early. I thought he fought a good fight. And, he took his foot off the gas pedal, like, late in the fight. But, come on, bro. 117, 111 Lubin. I'm not having this conversation again. I've had this conversation 100 times about the judging and the shit that goes on. It was a terrible decision. Whether you want to say that you think Ramos won, or whether you want to just talk about the fucking scorecards being 117, 111 Lubin. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Come on. This shit really does aggravate me because there's just so many factors involved. You got these people that are fucking pushing their bodies to the max, getting injuries, getting punched in the head, risking their life in the ring, taking time away from their families, all this shit. I understand these people are paid a lot of money, but it doesn't mean that they're not sacrificing. And then you got all these other people, paying for pay-per-views and doing, all this shit, or paying for tickets to the fight and drinks while they're out there and all this and that. And you just turn around and you just blatantly say that a dude lost a fight when he didn't. So I mean, and an undefeated guy, like, to lose your fucking undefeated record like that, I don't think this guy was going to retire undefeated or anything, but I mean, just, it just leaves a salty taste in your mouth, bro. You know what I mean? And going into the main event, I was already, I already had in my head what I really thought was going to happen in the main event and wasn't too thrilled about what went on leading up to it. So I was, I just had a salty taste in my mouth at that point. So anyway, getting into the main event, the bell rings, Canelo comes out super aggressive. I'll tell you this right off the bat. Charlo just wasn't there to win. And I actually had a very strong feeling about this. You know what? I had a little bit of an inclination of it leading up to the fight because of the choice of words that Charlo, the word selection that Charlo was choosing. It just wasn't his typical energy. And it doesn't have to be. You know what I mean? Like, Bud wasn't super aggressive with Spence. They were, cordial with each other and stuff like that. And Bud went in there and was a fucking killer and took care of business in a very impressive fashion. So I'm not saying that Charlo had to be a dick or had to be aggressive, but that's what Charlo does. You know what I'm saying? It's the Charlos say, and I'll give them credit. I haven't seen Jermell say many things over the past year or two that I was like, man, fuck this dude. But I have seen them say things like that in the past. Jamal, I think, is an absolute retard. I just don't really like either one of them, and last night didn't do anything to help their case. But, back to the fight or whatever, I saw by the things that he was saying in the lead up to the fight that his energy was different. It kind of seemed like, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but it kind of seemed like he didn't want to piss Canelo off. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like when somebody's online talking shit and then somebody shows up to their house and it's, or maybe not shows up to the house because that's directly aggressive, but maybe you said something behind somebody's back and now you're chilling and that person is there and you're trying to, like, smooth things out because you don't want this dude to fuck you up or something. I don't know if I'm giving a good example, but I'm sure you can kind of understand what I'm hinting at in some fashion. And it just seemed like that to me. It just seemed like Charlo didn't want to make Canelo like, all right, man, cool, you know what I mean? Like, You've accomplished a lot. We're gonna get in the ring. We're gonna fight, but it's all respect. You know what I mean? I respect Canelo's team. They've accomplished a lot, and I'm honored to have this opportunity. I mean, there was no opportunity, bro, because you didn't try to win. Charlo showed up for a paycheck. Period. It is what it is. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Charlo showed up for a paycheck. I could see it. I'll tell you when I knew it. Because I didn't know it in the build up to the fight. Because I'm trying to say in my head, right? I'm always trying to give these athletes the benefit of the doubt. These are professional athletes that are not only professional athletes, but are in a fucking fight sport, a brutal fight sport where they're risking their life. So I don't want to turn around and disrespect these dudes and call them scared and things like that. But I noticed it. I felt like I noticed it, and I didn't bring it up too much in my video because in my head, I kept trying to say, like, you know what, maybe he's just being honest. Maybe he's matured a little bit. Maybe he's calmed down a little bit. And maybe he's just being honest and he does feel honored to be here. But when that bell rings, he's going to fucking snap. Like, listen, like Bud. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to keep it cool here. But, bro, when that bell rings, I'm going to fucking hurt you. You know what I mean? And he just said a lot of things. It's just nonsense. You told him, oh, he did that to Plan. He wouldn't be able to do that to me. And it's just so many fucking things that he said where you sell this fight and these people go out and they pay for this fight and they put bets on this fight and all this shit. And listen, bro, you lose, you lose. I'm not saying that you're obligated to go out there and win a fight because somebody bet on you, but you are obligated to go out there and fucking fight. And I didn't feel like Charlo really made any attempt at any point in the fight to win. The first round, they both landed one punch each. One punch each, bro. And, I'll give the announcer credit because, and I don't remember who it was. I think it might have been Al Bernstein. I don't really remember, but one of the announcers was saying, "Hey, this is a point right here where you gotta steal this round. Put this one in the bag." You know what I mean? Because if Canelo's trying to pace himself, or Canelo's trying to read you, or Canelo's trying to cut the ring and pick his shots, or whatever the case, that's fine, right? But you have to take advantage of when Canelo's not working. So if Canelo's just standing there and he's not going to punch and he's just going to move forward and move his head and he's not doing anything, you don't have to hurt him. You don't have to drop him. You don't have to knock him out. You don't have to do anything but score some points. Throw some jabs or something. You know what I mean? Take a round, put a round in the bag. Put a very boring round in the bag. Land 6 jabs in that round and just keep your feet moving and land 6 jabs. Canelo only landed 1 punch, so he didn't hurt you. He didn't win the round. You got to take those rounds, bro, that he's going to give you like that. You have to, okay, up 1-0. Give Canelo a sense of urgency. Make him chase from behind. Do something. Gain some respect. Do something. He did nothing. He fought like he was scared in the beginning. And then, to his credit, I thought he took some of Canelo's punches very well. And I actually noticed from that point on that he didn't seem to fight scared anymore, but he did seem to continue to fight preventatively. And what I mean by that was he's not trying to win, he's just trying to not get knocked out. And I felt like that kind of came after the knockdown, where he took some good shots, he took them well, and it was like, okay, you know what, maybe let me, do a little something here, where he didn't really fight like Charlo, but he didn't seem to be scared anymore. Like, at least now I'm gonna throw some punches. I'm not gonna land 1 punch around. But he just never, and I want to say this, I thought Charlo's footwork was great. Not that I haven't seen Charlo's footwork before, but to see Charlo in the ring with a pound-for-pound great like that, and see that much of a difference in the footwork, the changing of angles, things like that, but he didn't take advantage of any of it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to understand that your footwork is a defensive thing that can also set up offensive opportunities. You can use your footwork to create angles, to create, misses from the opponent and all these type of things. But no matter what you're doing with your feet, you can't win the fight unless you're landing punches, bro. Like, this is like saying you're using your hands as a distraction in soccer. That's great, and maybe it works, but you still have to kick the soccer ball in the net with your foot. Can't pick it up with your hand and throw it in. So you're not going to win the fight with your feet unless you're throwing punches. Now, if you're letting your hands go, you can win the fight with your feet. But, yeah, Charlo just showed up for a paycheck, man, and it fucking pisses me off. It really does. It pisses me off for the people who put bets in. It pisses me off for the people that paid for the pay-per-views. It pisses me off for the people that try to get into boxing and turn on a fight like that, and they just see, nonsense. Listen, kudos to Canelo, bro. Canelo was pressing the action. Canelo was comfortably ahead and was still trying to get a knockout. So I give Canelo credit for that. I'm not the biggest Canelo fan. I don't hate Canelo. I'm not the biggest Canelo fan. But I give credit where it's due. Now, let's talk about Canelo really quick, because we've established that it's my belief that that Charlo showed up for a paycheck. But let's talk about Canelo really quick, because Canelo looked good, right? And shouts to Paulie Malignaggi, because I watched Paulie's video last night, and I thought Paulie actually made a good video on this as well, and touched on some of the same points that I'm talking about too. But I thought Canelo looked good, but he looked good against a guy that wasn't trying to win. So, it looks good because it looks better than the other guy. But if you really look at what Canelo was doing, Canelo's not the fighter that he used to be. Yes, he did a great job cutting the ring, and he was trying to end the fight, but he was doing it in a very one-dimensional way. He kept throwing the same punches. It was pretty much always a 1-1-2. And there was really only one time where he threw the 2 in a different fashion than he had prior, and that was when he landed the shot and scored the knockdown. I mean, you could tell Jermell was doing a good job catching those with his high guard, but Canelo was pop, pop, and then looping. And he was turning into it well, pop, and he was turning like that, but they were coming from out here. and Charlo was catching him. You could see when you watch the slow motion replay, Canelo threw that bop, and he came through a little bit straighter with this one. Came out a little bit, which is probably what led Charlo to believe it was looping, and then he kind of threw it straight in. You could see Charlo saw the punch coming and was there, but he moved his guard like this to try to catch the loop, and it came this way, and it clipped him. So, I mean, one little subtle adjustment right there, which was great. It was a great adjustment, and it resulted in a knockdown. But it was really the only adjustment made by Canelo. He kept throwing the same, 1-1-2, and he would throw the left hook to the body. Nothing was really disguised. The feints were not as good as they used to be. We used to see Canelo do a lot of it. He would fake the lead right hand and come with the uppercut, or vice versa. He'd fake the uppercut and come with the lead. It was a lot of tricks Canelo used to pull out that I haven't seen him pull out in quite some time now. I'm glad that he feels better after the surgery. He feels like he's back in tip-top shape, but I definitely did not see the old Canelo last night. I saw a determined Canelo. I saw a Canelo that might be feeling better physically. I saw a seasoned, experienced Canelo that was hungry and was looking for the knockout for sure. But I did see some things that led me to believe that Canelo is not necessarily exactly what he used to be. He didn't really throw any combinations either. 1-1-2, but that's the 1-1 is throwaway. You're setting something up. He really just didn't throw many combinations. He didn't mix many things up. I didn't see too many left hooks to the head. There were a handful of them, but you're talking about a 12-round fight against a guy who really wasn't trying to win. There weren't many jabs to the body. There weren't many straights to the body. Handful of uppercuts that went through the guard, not many. Canelo used to have a little bit more to offer. I'll put it to you like that. That's basically the gist of everything that I wanted to get out. The only other thing that I do want to talk about really quickly in this video is I made a video about the next year or so being a rough year for the Charlos. I don't know what Jermell's deal is. He's not fighting right now, so I won't directly address Jermell, but I will just speak for the Charlos in general. I talked about it being a rough year. Listen, I'll say this. He got out unscathed last night. I talked about what had been going on, what had gone on already, and then, Spence, them talking shit, and Spence getting beat up by Bud, and then Bud calling him out, and him kind of looking like he was scared of Bud, and then, now all of a sudden he leaves that weight class, jumps up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo. After the Canelo fight, he calls Bud back out. Now, listen, you don't want no smoke with Bud, bro. I'm telling you right now, you don't want no smoke with Bud. He's going to go down to 54. Bud's going to fuck him up. He's going to say that, I went up too much. I can't fight at 54 now. Getting down here killed me, and it's going to be an excuse. It's a bunch of nonsense. Bud's going to fucking smoke you, period. And I know he shook a Bud. It's funny he called him out last night, but I think that's just another money grab. He could try to do the same thing in the Bud fight that he did last night, just kind of go in there and not commit to too much, not sit down on anything, not open himself up, and not get caught, not get knocked out, not get stopped, something like that. I still probably do think Bud stops him, because I think Bud has more tricks in the bag than Canelo has at this point in his career. But I just thought we saw last night why Mayweather dismantled Canelo so easily, how and why Bivol was able to beat him. Canelo is a great fighter, bro. A great fighter, an all-time great fighter. But he's beatable, especially at this point in his career. And, Charlo didn't take advantage of his opportunity last night. Like I said, he may have gotten out unscathed in the sense that Canelo didn't fuck him up, and he got a big payday. Great. Good for you, Charlo. I'm never a hater on anybody making any money or anything like that. But, yeah, man, I just wasn't overly happy with pretty much anything that went on last night. The one thing that I will say, again, I give Canelo credit. I thought he did a great job with pressing the action and really trying to stop the fight. But other than that, man, I thought in general last night was a pretty whack one. And we'll see what happens for the Charlos, bro. Might be a lot of money in his future, but might be a lot of ass whippings in his future. So, I don't know. Maybe check one of these videos out or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Might entertain you. Peace.